Hey folks, it's Friday and December is moving right along at a light speed rate. It's already the 17th. Boy, that is hard to believe. So hopefully I can be pretty quick today, although there are some developments that I need to keep y'all up to date on around COVID, of course. Um, and the big news is around Omicron. If you haven't heard about it, it's a new variant. It is spreading faster than you can sneeze, literally. The epidemiologists are saying that it is the fastest that they have seen anything, including measles, spread in a long, long time. So kind of scary. There are predictions that within the next couple of weeks in South Carolina, Omicron will be the dominant variant. What is Omicron anyway? It is a variant. Still not a lot known about it. We are hearing that the cases may be a little bit more mild than what we were experiencing in Delta, although in data coming out of South Africa, where Johannesburg is, at least half of the cases result in hospitalization. So, good news, kind of bad news. Good news, though, around it is the boosters seem to really help with the Omicron. Everybody was really concerned in the beginning because there were breakthroughs, especially with people who weren't even vaccinated but had had the virus previously, and their antibodies just weren't holding out. So those kind of breakthroughs were people who were fully vaccinated but didn't necessarily have the booster. So, good news and bad news. If you are eligible, get the booster. That seems to be the big question. Uh, if Omicron's not going to be here for another couple of weeks, then you've got time for your booster to have built up full immunity before the darn thing slams into us. So boost away. Monoclonal antibody infusions. Lots going on in that area. We have been able to infuse the children. Uh, FDA and CDC gave that approval last week, and since that time, we have been able to provide the infusion to 38 kids, many of whom were not even eligible for the vaccine. And those poor kids, when they get COVID, they are really in a pickle. So being able to have this infusion really has made a difference. We are so appreciative of that. The thing is about Omicron, there is some evidence that if you are thinking that, well, if I get sick, I'll just go have the monoclonal antibody infusion, that may not be such a as great an option as it used to be, because they are beginning in research to discover that our normal products, and I don't want to bore you with the names, but Regeneron and also something that we call a cocktail of Bamlivimab, BAM-EAT, are not going to be as effective against Omicron. When Delta came out, CDC and FDA withdrew BAM-EAT because it wasn't effective against Delta. Well, the same thing might be going on with Omicron. What that means is right now there seems to be maybe only one monoclonal antibody supply called Sotrovimab that will be effective against Omicron, but, big but here. Sotrovimab is in very, very short supply. I'm going to repeat that. If you're thinking that, well, if I get the virus, I'll just go have a monoclonal antibody infusion. And frankly, many of y'all have thought that. Many of y'all that aren't vaccinated have had the monoclonal antibody infusion. That may not be an option with Omicron because the supply may literally not be there. So y'all need to be thinking about that. Testing. Remember, I've been preaching about this for a long time now. Test, test, test. Test before you gather, test after you gather together, test before you go to an event. Just test all the time. And I've also been talking for months about HRSA, the feds planning on providing to FQHCs these rapid at-home test kits. I was beginning to get discouraged about this because it didn't look like they were ever going to show up, but we've had some recent developments just this week, and we'll be learning more the first of next week, that this really might happen. Uh, we may be able to order as early as next week, and we may get some shipments, but it probably won't be until the end of the year. So, it's coming, but still a lot of unknowns about this. But remember, we have rapid testing available in our offices in addition to PCR testing. How will we know when Omicron becomes the prevalent variant in South Carolina? Well, it was more difficult for South Carolina whenever the Delta virus hit us because we didn't have a lot of labs that had the capability of doing what's called sequencing to figure out exactly what that virus was. Now we have a lot more that's available. A lot of labs have bought the necessary equipment, and there is some some particular PCR tests that are also able to reveal whether or not the Omicron is present or prevalent. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think we'll know a lot quicker than we did with Delta when to start worrying about the presence of it, because we need to worry about it. The Omicron variant is extremely transmissible, and unfortunately, that's going to mean a really huge increase in the number of cases. Hopefully, not an increase in the number of hospitalizations or a huge increase in the number of deaths. I've got all my fingers crossed. I don't know about you. I have shared this with you before, and I'm going to be putting it in my email. There is a wonderful tool that you can use. If you're uncertain about doing something, having a family gathering, even going to church, wearing your mask, whatever, there has been an update to a tool that became available early this year. mycovidrisk.app. It's a web-based application. It's not something that you can go to your Play Store and buy. It's a web-based application, so you have to type that in to your browser, mycovidrisk.app. It has been updated, like I said. You put in your location, what it is you want to do, and several other factors that contribute to the risk, and you'll get a pretty good perspective on how much what you're planning on doing is going to be high, low, medium, or minimal risk. Take advantage of that. Share it widely with your friends and family and co-workers. It works. You'll know, you'll have good concrete evidence of whether or not your plans are at a low risk, and even more so, how you actually can lower that risk. Maybe instead of being all inside, with the weather being nice, maybe you can be outside. So take a look at that. All right, I'm going to wrap up with some congratulations. I cannot for the life of me remember whether or not I've congratulated Marette Calhoun. You know, Marette is the director over our programs with our community health workers, our outreach workers, and so forth. And from the Primary Care Association, he won the South Carolina Award of Excellence. So we're so proud of that. Marette has done a phenomenal job in pulling together a program of outreach and community health and patient advocacy that frankly is unparalleled, not only in the state, in my opinion, but in many, many, many other states. So congratulations to Marette. Also, congratulations to our very own Jerry Andrews, our Associate Medical Director. Jerry won the South Carolina what was the title of her award? She was the South Carolina Primary Health Care Association Emerging Leader of the Year. And Jerry is really proven that to be a very accurate description as she took on the mantle of being the Associate Medical Director. She really has stepped up and shown that as an emerging leader, she's got so much potential in this area of FQHCs and especially Care South. And let's all congratulate ourselves because Care South Carolina won the South Carolina Primary Health Care Association Health Center of the Year Award. That is so cool. We have won it before, but it's been a long time ago. And having that award in this very, very difficult time has really been a very good feeling. Acknowledgement by our peers, other um, health centers that we have been sharing extensively, um, whether it's in my department or whether it's in HR or any other department for that matter. Care South Carolina has always had the culture of being willing to what I call share senselessly. That's what makes us all strong. Letting other organizations know what we worked and what hadn't worked. Being candid, being transparent, not being competitive, but being open and honest with our folks that are also in the FQHC world. So that award as the Health Center of the Year has really resonated with us. I know it. I was very surprised to hear our name announced, um, and really appreciate that acknowledgement, not only by the association but by our neighbors and friends, other FQHCs across the state. So feel good about that. It certainly does honor who we are and what we've been doing. We truly are all in this together. Stay safe, people. Next week is the holiday week. I doubt I have a chance to talk with you. Please take a look at your email. I may be able to get an email out on Wednesday evening after the board meeting before the holidays for us begin Thursday and Friday. But most definitely, take a look at your email on Monday when you come back and see what the board action has been around COVID and any of the issues and needs that we may have, particularly in vaccination. Stay safe, folks. Test, 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 test. And go to mycovidrisk.app. Take care. Be safe. Have a wonderful holiday. We all need the break. Bye-bye.